Dr. Navi, would you prefer to keep talking while...
I'll continue with that. That's perfectly fine. I guess the rest of the slides are fine, I think. Something has happened to this particular one, I guess.
Okay. Please continue.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. I'm more concerned about the problems of the section of students that still goes unnoticed, the school-going village kids. As per a survey conducted by NCERT, 40% of students said they found online learning difficult or burdensome. I quote the article published in Financial Express last year on October 12, which talks of challenges faced by rural communities. It says digital literacy and the digital divide have been serious concerns for our country for over a decade now. Many teachers and students in rural areas are not able to match up to the technical skills of educationists and students in cities. When we talk of problems and challenges, as a teacher in one such school, I find that quite true. And the current scenario is an eye-opener for teachers in village schools, as they are coming to terms with how much loss it is causing to students for not being that tech-savvy. The urban schools always had some inclusion of technology, but it feels like with almost zero use of technology in rural areas, we never had a plan B in our schools. And a contrast appears instantly as I look at the various tools and devices of technology being used everywhere for teaching online, and those that we use in particularly our village schools. Majority of families in villages have only one regular mobile phone for calling only, while some have only one smartphone with internet. And very few children in our schools ever had a regular access to mobiles and internet. Suddenly, the family mobile has now become a family member, helping the entire family deal with the pandemic. And it's no exaggeration to say that the mobile in villages now stands as a representative of parents and the family in the teacher-student-parents trio. There are pros and cons to this new relationship emerging, and I have tried to trace them in this paper. Well, sometimes it feels like the mobile has become a silent language between the teacher and the student, wherein both are trying to decode the signals. While in a regular classroom, it is not difficult to interact with students and make them understand any idea instantly, as a lot of understanding is conveyed through gestures and feedback. The mobile screen often becomes a wall beyond which it is not always easy to reach their minds. Besides, a number of students aren't able to connect to school group via internet due to lack of smartphones and technical tools. Girls especially are suffering because of certain constraints. I remember calling two girls recently to ask why they are absent from the class, and got the reply that they can use the mobile only when the father comes back home in the evening, and they try to finish their work only in the night. Wherein we have boys in our school group who are somehow managing with getting the mobiles on time, it is sufficient to understand that girls still have to struggle a lot in the current scenario. Furthermore, a kind of student autonomy is developing wherein they see no harm in hiding themselves when they do not want to answer something or simply want to skip a class. As students find the teacher is now just a ping away on WhatsApp, they keep...
Dr. Navi, you can...
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Please move on to the last slide then. I would like to go with that only. The last one. Sure. Here I want to discuss some solutions that I have been pondering upon. I would like to mention my own paper published in a seminar proceeding earlier, wherein I suggested the formation of R&D units in each district with the sole purpose of dealing with the teaching learning challenges in rural areas. And I had suggested there that such R&Ds must have only academic interference in terms of its members, e.g. school, principals, teachers, professors, etc., and should be purely in direct touch with the policymakers in some way or the other. And as I am talking about the contribution that the teachers, parents, and the government, community, and students can have, I would like to point out that the state governments are trying to provide substitute to classroom teaching via YouTube live classes and educational TV channels, but it can probably never find an alternative to school and student-specific learner needs. In that scenario, I feel that it's important if we are able to have some kind of virtual classroom in the regular panchayat halls in the villages. If government and community can do something about that, because as such teachers can run online live or recorded lectures from their home to be telecast on the big multimedia screen installed in each Gram Panchayat hall. And there can also be a concept of micro classes there. And social distancing also will not be compromised. So on the part of the students also, there's a need to develop a better sense of teamwork. As for instance, in our group, we always promote that students who get disconnected from the group for days, we ask other students to help them complete their homework, which helps reduce some kind of stress from the teacher's work as well. Well, as I think I don't have that much time to discuss everything here, I think this was a window for discussion that I saw opening during my online WhatsApp classes. I hope it has put forth clearly the new dynamics of teacher-student relationship and the role of the family mobile in it. Thank you for being so patient with me. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Navi. This was really a very good beginning. There's so much of food for thought in what you've just shared. These are challenges that are so real, and it is wonderful to see that you are trying to find and offer solutions that are that include community involvement. Is there any question? Would anybody like to ask a question to the presenter here? Any question? You can unmute yourself or put the question in the chat box. I don't see questions. So
I hope I said exactly what I wanted to say, but that was enough, I think.
I really liked what you had to say, and I would like to connect with you at some point later, perhaps.
Just one question.
Sure, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, what is the way forward? What do you think should be done to address all these issues?
Well, there's this one thing that I've been thinking ever since, even before the pandemic, I've been thinking of one thing, that R&Ds, I think there should be R&Ds, research and development cell we can have in each district, wherein teachers can directly report to teachers only or principals or professors. Because generally what I have seen, officers cannot do much at their end to help us with our problems and their solutions. So I really would like to see some R&Ds being developed in each district. Just like an MNC can have an R&D, why can't our education sector have an R&D in each district, so that it becomes easier for us to connect with everybody and we can understand each other's problems better.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. More? Pushta has a question.
Dr. Navi, yes. More of like I wasn't able to unmute myself previously. I really like your idea of R&D. What my question to you is, like, currently when you are in the school, and you're talking about R&D, so are you talking about R&D where you are where teachers from different schools in the community are coming together, or are you talking about a system where they are actually conversing with their own heads and everything? Or what are the contributions or the ideology of your heads of the schools regarding the problems that the teachers are facing in the organization itself, right? Yeah. If you are facing certain problem, what is the idea of the teachers or of the principals and the heads who can actually work towards this particular problem?
Yeah, actually, when I say R&D, I imagine an R&D where we can come together. Be it a teacher, be it a professor from some other colleges, because I've been in connection with other professors as well. There are some senior professors who would like to add to would like to contribute to this whole thing of teaching learning in rural schools. And last year also we had an ELT workshop where all the teachers gathered, and we were discussing the problems that we were facing. So I found that some problems were similar and some others were not similar. So it was an area specific thing, which can be dealt only when we come together on a certain platform. So we can have maybe a center in the city or somewhere where all the teachers can come, and gradually it can develop into something like regular visits to other schools as well. What I mean to say is that there should not be any control from the official side when we want to develop an R&D. It should be solely based on, it should be solely made up of teachers only. teachers and all the people who can actually add through their all knowledge regarding research and all educational research. This is what I mean when I want to say R&D, because I've been seeing this whole thing that a lot of interference from the official side or sometimes even government.
The managerial side, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that response and for the question. That was really relevant, because I think what Dr. Navi is trying to perhaps stress upon is the fact that we need to visualize and bring into everybody's notice the fact that teachers are the best judge of their contextual challenges, and therefore a research and development approach to modification or betterment of the curriculum can be one way in which to encourage a larger and research-based approach to education as a whole, and also take the community's inputs into this entire process. So that's a wonderful idea, but then we know that there are systemic challenges, but well, that should not put us off. So this is how perhaps ideas generated from teachers can build into the education system. So thank you, Dr. Navi, for that presentation. And there was a lot of food for thought. So thank you. Now like to move on to our second presenter,